welcome back to Vegas Weekly for Saturday, May 9th, 2020. Hope that this show finds you and yours well and healthy. Before we get started on this week's show, I just wanted to clean up a few of our housekeeping notes. First of all, thanks to all the folks who showed up on Wednesday night for what was supposed to be a 10 or 15 minute live stream, but by popular demand, it went nearly 2 hours. So I had a good time chatting with all of you about Vegas and in some cases unrelated topics. But again, thanks for coming by. We'll do another live stream probably towards the end of this month, our sort of regularly scheduled one. At least we didn't have any technical difficulties this time. Also wanted to give a shout out to my friends Hog and 2 Cent, once again for having me on their wacky game show, the finals of which was last Sunday. And also a shout out to the other contestants, Matt Bridger, Eric, Ace of Vegas, and Kevin, Matrix 2021. It was great fun to be a part of that, and certainly was a shocking ending. So if you haven't checked out their video of the finals, do so. I think you'll be amazed, just as I was. And there are a ton of folks out there that have been doing live streams and doing sort of fake vlogs. Many of us were supposed to be in Vegas within the last couple of weeks, and in order to sort of deal with the frustration, they've been doing sort of daily updates, talking about what they would have been doing in Vegas or just what they're doing to kill time. So certainly our friend Mark, Pennies for Vegas, has been doing a daily vlog, which has turned into a cooking show. We've learned a lot of valuable kitchen tips from him. Obviously, I mentioned Hog and 2 Cent. They're doing regular live streams that can go on for hours and hours. So if you need to kill some time and want some entertaining banter, definitely check them out. And my friend Vegas BB did basically a week-long sort of non-travel log of what she would have been doing in Vegas. So you'll want to check her out as well. And so far we've had some one-offs from Matrix 2021, and this morning Nikki Firmage talking about their time not in Vegas. So definitely check those folks out for some entertainment. There's so many live streams right now, it's hard for me to keep up. Fortunately or unfortunately, I'm going to say fortunately, I'm still going to work every day, so I don't have quite as much spare time, but it's nice to see people filling that time with some kind of information and fellowship. It sounds like a mass service around here or something. But today, I wanted to touch very briefly in the news segment on a bit of sad news that we heard last night. Roy Horn of the famous Vegas duo Siegfried and Roy, they were one of the biggest stars of the Las Vegas Strip for probably about 15 years. Started out at the New Frontier and then moved over to the Mirage. They were so famous they made it into Vegas Vacation. And those of us old enough to remember certainly can remember their marquee on the Strip, and also the near tragic White Tiger attack on Roy back in 2003, which effectively ended the show. Roy was in very serious condition for quite some time, but made more or less a full recovery. Unfortunately, he seems to have succumbed in this case to some complications from the COVID-19 virus. Roy was 75, and we certainly send out our thoughts and prayers to his friends and family, and of course the whole Las Vegas entertainment community, which is dealing with enough right now. And so rest in peace, Roy Horn. The other news story that I wanted to touch on this week is the fact that today, May the 9th, as we speak, Las Vegas is reopening, kind of. Well, the entire state of Nevada is reopening, kind of. It begins phase 1 of the governor's reopening plan. And so as of today, restaurants can actually serve you inside the restaurant. They have to maintain 6 feet separation. They can only operate at 50% capacity. Everybody's got to be wearing the face coverings. But it's definitely something, certainly for those folks who work in those industries or people who've been desperate for a night out somewhere. No bars and casinos at this point. but pretty much any business now can reopen. Any sort of storefront can reopen, including even the pot shops, though not tattoo parlors and massage parlors and places like that. They're still restricted. You can also go get your hair and nails done, which for some folks will be a huge relief. I'm almost getting tired of the my hair is out of control videos and tweets. So perhaps at least some of our Vegas friends will be able to get themselves looking sharp as a result of that. Still, again, no casinos, hotels. As far as I know, that's actually not supposed to happen until phase 3. Looking into it, phase 2, all I could discover was that phase 2 is supposed to lift the ban on non-essential travel, which I suspect has effectively been, was never enforced and never really followed very closely. People are always driving around. So, and of course, previously, the ban had been lifted on a number of outdoor activities, golf courses, that sort of things. You can go to a drive-in movie theater. I don't know, is there a drive-in movie theater in Vegas? I've never seen it. That doesn't mean it doesn't exist. So, but no regular theaters, no shows, no pools, ponds, whatever. Not available just yet, but it's certainly a light at the end of the tunnel. And the hope, anyway, that with the progress we've made so far, that we will see casino openings in the not so distant future. Some people have speculated by the end of this month. I think sort of mid to late June is more realistic, but I've been wrong before. In fact, usually on a daily basis. So we will see, but at least there's some sign. And then the other positive about this is it actually came a bit early. The governor said, hey, things are progressing so well. We're seeing declines in cases and hospitalizations. We're going to go ahead and kickstart phase 1 a few days early. So there you go. Certainly this isolation has affected all of us, even our ace mixologist, PJ. He's been drinking a bit too much, we think. And this week, well, we had to give him a week off. But fortunately, that doesn't mean that we're without Cocktail of the Week. So here's our special cockeyed Cocktail of the Week, featuring JP.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another episode of Cocktail of the Week with your host and not a professional bartender, PJ.
Wait a minute! That's not PJ! It must be PJ's evil cousin, JP. Whew. Whew. That teleportation takes a lot out of a guy. Yeah, sorry, PJ's not here today, but my name is JP, and I'm PJ's evil cousin from the South of America. See the hat? But PJ couldn't be with us today, but just like PJ, I'm going to whip up a magical cocktail concoction and show you how it's put together. And I'm sure it's going to be amazing. Or maybe not. But, all right, we're going to turn the camera around. We're going to show you how we put this puppy together. Okay, so we're all set up here with our concoctions here. And this drink is called a Pink PJ in honor of my evil cousin. We got 3 ingredients here in my Planet Hollywood shot glasses from Las Vegas, Reno, and Lake Tahoe. So, and you might be able to figure out how it's going to end up being pink, but we're going to show you. So, this is 2 ounces of each of these ingredients. We're going to start out with 2 ounces of vodka. All right. Doesn't have to be good vodka, because you're not going to taste it. Here's the interesting ingredient. This is 2 ounces of cream. Well, it's half and half. So that's good enough. You could use cream. It's a bit rich. So 2 ounces of that. All right. And then, to finish it off, we have 2 ounces of grenadine. All right. And you're going to stir this up a little bit. Stir up this puppy a little bit. Stir up the puppy. And just like PJ, I don't really seem to have a big enough ingredients. My glass is a little too small. But, as you can plainly see, it's pink. It's a pink PJ. Now, I remember I am not a professional bartender. If this is actually a drink, or if any of you actually drank this drink, then, let me know what it's called in the comments below. But I used to make something kind of like this, and it had a less family-friendly name. But anyway, so there is our pink PJ. And we're going to take a break here a minute, and I'm going to taste it for you. Okay, everybody. It's JP, and I'm back to try out my fabulous pink PJ. Here, take a look. Doesn't that look delicious? Or something? Smells pretty good. All right, let's give it a try. You could garnish this with a, I don't know, something. Not going to do it. Here we go. That's actually pretty good. Wasn't quite sure how this was going to come out, but this is like one of those creamsicles. You know, the popsicle or something. You can't taste the vodka at all, which means this would be very dangerous, but I'm going to have a little bit more. That is surprisingly good. I've always said, put a little grenadine in just about anything, and it'll taste good. And I guess it works with this. But hey, if you definitely give this pink PJ a try, easily available ingredients, and I think you'll have a good time with it. So next week, we should be back with more from my evil cousin, PJ. But for this week, thanks for tuning in for our cockeyed cocktail of the week. I don't know, JP looked kind of familiar to me, but I don't know. You'll have to let me know what you think. Looks like an interesting drink, at least. Perhaps I'll have to try it one day. Today's Vegas tip or trick is part of our top 10 Vegas tips or tricks. I think we're up to our 7th week of that, and hopefully I'll remember when we get to 10, because then we'll be soliciting your Vegas tips or tricks once again for a chance to win great prizes. But today I wanted to talk a little bit about timing, which can really be a huge help for you in Las Vegas. Well, once bars and restaurants are open, if you want to get great deals on foods. I'm not just talking about those late night specials, which you rarely see anymore, but I'm talking about getting great deals at higher end bars and restaurants. One opportunity is lunch versus dinner. A number of the higher end restaurants are actually open for lunch, and typically, while they may feature a slightly reduced menu, they also feature reduced prices, sometimes 30 to 50% off. So it's a great way to check out a upper end restaurant without spending quite so much money. I know I've done this at Mesa Grill and Hell's Kitchen and was substantially cheaper. In addition, it's usually not as difficult to get into these places. You may be able to just walk up and get a table or at least a seat at the bar. So definitely consider lunch versus dinner. And another thing to consider is a number of places will open up early, 3, 4, 5 o'clock, and have sort of a limited bar menu. And many of those places feature a happy hour of sorts. There is no way to begin to compile a list of Las Vegas happy hours, particularly now. But they undoubtedly will return when the bars and restaurants return. Your best bet is to simply look around your hotel and places you're visiting and staying and checking out different places. In many cases, you can get appetizers at half price. You can get premium cocktails and beer at reduced prices. So it's definitely worthwhile. And it's also an opportunity to try something at these restaurants when you may discover that later you want to return to spend a little bit more money and get the full dinner experience. So that's our Vegas tip or trick of the week. Hope that it helps you out on your next trip. Today's week in Vegas history is a little bit different. We've been talking a lot about casinos and hotels and shows and performers and everything. But today we remember a tragedy in Las Vegas history, which probably very few of you do, unless you happen to be in town at the time. It's the Pepcon tragedy. On May 4th, 1988, a chemical plant in at that time, remote Henderson, Nevada, exploded, causing an enormous plume of smoke in the air, a significant amount of damage, a number of injuries, and 2 fatalities. The plant manufactured ammonium. Oh, I'm going to have to look this up. I thought I had it, but let's say that the plant manufactured a component of rocket fuel, an oxidizing agent that was used in rocket fuel, such as that of the space shuttle. Now, a couple of years previously, the Challenger disaster had impacted NASA and they had shut down the space program. So there was even more of this substance stored at the facility at that time. A small fire quickly got out of hand and began to ignite a series of explosions, which the strongest of which sent plumes hundreds of feet into the air, a crater 15 feet deep, and the equivalent of a 3.5 earthquake on the Richter scale. Again, fortunately, there wasn't a lot else in the area at that time. There was actually another chemical plant that had the same product stored on site about 1.5 miles away, and while there was some damage there, fortunately none of that chemical was ignited. You can go on YouTube, there's some videos of this which are pretty amazing. Of course, it could be felt all throughout the valley, but fortunately, again, there weren't a lot of residences nearby, although there was a 5-mile radius that was basically evacuated for a time, and there was concern about the chemicals in the air and what they were. They actually blew off to the northeast, which was probably a blessing in terms of their impact on the Las Vegas Valley. There was also a marshmallow plant nearby, and it's rumored to have suffered some more damage. Sorry, couldn't resist. Anyway, as I said, several hundred injuries, 2 fatalities. Fortunately, there was a little bit of time and most of the workers were running at breakneck speed away from the plant when the explosion started, so most people were able to get away with only minor injuries. But certainly an extraordinary event in Las Vegas history, and one you probably haven't heard about. It happened May 4th, 1988, and is this week in Vegas history. I've decided to go ahead and title this program this week Vegas Weekly, W-E-A-K-L-Y, due to its sort of short and abrupt segments. But I hope you had a good time with it anyway. We will be back next Saturday, as always, with another show. If you're in America, happy Mother's Day to all the mothers. Call your mom tomorrow. And regardless, I hope that you all have a great, lucky, and healthy week. And we will see you soon.